America, my name is Osei-Frimpong, and you're watching The Black Athenians. And today we have a very special show, and I don't want it to be too special because I want it to kind of be a monthly thing. I brought in a guest because if you don't know anything about me, I believe that we need to talk to working class black folks. Because the black folks on the radio and the black folks on television and the black folks you see on MSNBC, they might not be talking about us. Because most of us work for a living, and there's something to be said for actually getting the testimonies of people who work for a living. And I think black people who work for a living, especially older black people who work for a living, have something to say. And I'll be honest, another criteria for you to get on my show is you need to be able to say something, and you need to say it about white people to white people. Because if you're still scared of white people, and there's some 70, 80, 90-year-old black people still scared to death of white people. Mostly because when they grew up, white people still like stringing up black people every now and again. But I don't. Now just put you in jail and take your kids. But what? So I want to talk to black working class folk because I think black working class folk have a truth that needs to be told. So in that vein, we've solicited Mary P. Bagby to come tell us a little words of wisdom. That's why the show is called Mary's Wow, Mary's Words of Wisdom. And if this goes well, I kind of want her to come back a few times just to see what's on her mind. Because Mary has things on her mind, and she has a truth that needs to be told. So, Mary, let's get to Mary and give a quick opening, and then we'll hit the opening. So, hi, Mary, who are you?
My name is Mary P. Bagby.
Can you speak up a little?
My name is Mary P. Bagby.
Good. And how
a
long
resident of Athens, Clark County. Been in the same house over 40 years and worked in the community and seen a lot of things.
All right.
Some of them good and some bad.
We're going to talk about both.
All right.
After the opening. Go ahead and hit the opening, Matt.
Yeah. Sound good to me. Never change the ways for the world or the government. If I was the president, then I would state facts. You leave it up to me, I paint the White House black and ain't no future in your front.
All right, so today we're going to talk about Mary P. Bagby, about what's on her mind. Because Mary's seen a lot of things, some of them good, some of them bad. And we need her perspective, and we need to be enlightened by her truth. So, Mary, what's on your mind, Mary?
Today I want to talk about education.
Education. Children.
Children. In Athens, Clark County particularly, because that's where I reside.
Right.
I want to talk about what's going on with the school board, and I like to urge parents to try their best to come to the board meetings. The second Thursday in every month, you have a right to come and speak for 3 minutes about the things that you want done for your children in the school system. But you have to call the school board before 4 p.m. that Thursday. So if you call earlier in the week, that would be fine. And I know some people say, well, I work, and I understand that. But perhaps sometimes the parents could say, ask their employees to allow them to come in early so they can get off early to come to the board meetings at 6 p.m. Decisions are being made concerning our children by people who have not experienced some of our difficulties in life. Right. So they don't have a clue of, not only do they not have a clue, they don't have the compassion to deal with our children. So I'd like to talk about some of the things that's going on in Athens, some of the decisions that are being made concerning the children, some of the votes that the board is getting ready to embark on, and also some investigations that is about to take place in the Athens Clark County School District.
Okay, so before we go into that, I want to know a little bit more about your schooling, Mary. Did you go to school? You didn't go to school in Athens, but you went to school where?
I went to school in North Carolina.
North Carolina.
And I went to school in Griffin, Georgia.
Griffin, Georgia. Now, was this a little black school, or was this
all black? And when I went to school in North Carolina, it was all black as well.
Right.
So my teachers were black. And I said to someone that I have a 9th grade education. They said, you shouldn't say you have a 9th grade education because you've gone to school, you've gone to Athens Technical College, and you have certificates and diplomas from Athens Technical College and certified nursing assistant, paralegals. And I said, well, the things I learned from all black teachers.
Right.
But I went to Athens Technical College to get those pieces of paper. So I had to go there and get tested on the education that I already had. So I attribute and give thanks to the teachers, the educators from my day. I'm almost 70 years old.
Wonderful black teachers in your school.
Their philosophy was, I've got mine and you're going to get yours.
Right.
But now it's, I've got mine and I don't care if you don't get yours.
As long as I keep getting mine.
That's right. And our children are coming out of school not understanding how to read, address letters, or so many other things, because our children are being undereducated.
Right. And we're talking about generations now, right? Because if kids are having kids, 17-year-olds having kids. And so we're talking about just generations of people who've been undereducated because the teachers just haven't been caring enough.
And over-policed.
And undereducated and over-policed.
Yes.
That's a problem. Mm-hmm. All right, so yes. Go on. What's on your mind, Mary?
Well, the Board of Education met yesterday from 6 o'clock p.m. until 10 o'clock last night. And it was very long. And some comments were made about why the Athens-Clarke County School Board should not retain the land that they own on West Broad Street. And one person on the board said that he really had a problem with having that land used to have a campus there for our children because the paraprofessionals are only getting paid $1,100. So what he's saying, continue to use it for land trust because the paraprofessionals are not getting paid enough.
And that is not enough.
That might be true. That might not be enough. However, if they're willing to teach our children, we got millions of dollars. The Board of Education, they talked last night about all the different millions of dollars they have in different funds. So why can't we use that money to give the paraprofessionals more money for more incentive? And another thing, you've got to have people coming to teach the children that have a heart for it and to know us. As I was looking at a documentary a few weeks ago, it was talking about how when integration first came in, they would send our highly trained black educators to teach white children to those schools, and they would send novices of the white race to our schools who were not.
It's not that much different than it is today right now, because we get all the teacher trainings going into the black public schools, these white girls from the suburbs. And I'm not a huge fan of that for a few different reasons, but I do think that parapros need to get paid, and I think they need to get paid more than $1,100 a month. I do not like strategically using their poverty in order to kill initiatives that might help black kids.
And that's what's happened. And I'll give you an example, a perfect example of what that statement did last night. When the mark over on Lexington Road,
yes,
before that was placed there, we wanted a Walmart there. But some of our legislators and statesmen said that we shouldn't put a Walmart there because they only pay you $8.75 an hour. So I thought, $8.75 an hour. I can walk to Walmart, and I'm almost 70 years old, and I'm willing to work, and able, capable. So now I could walk there in 15 minutes from my house. No more than 20. I could walk there in less than 20 minutes. And they'll pay me $8.75 an hour, and I work 40 hours, $350, and 4 times $350 for a month. Let's say it's only 4 weeks of the month, and I get $1,400. That's $1,400 would keep me from having to go to DFAC, sit down there 3 hours, filling out papers, waiting on the person to come interview me who's back there taking a coffee break for 35 minutes, and then they lose my paperwork, and I still don't get my $15, because that's what they was giving me, $15 a month. If I was working at Walmart and I was making $1,400 a month, I could go to the store when I wanted to and get some food. Right. So, but they use Walmart not paying enough to put an expensive high-rise there for rich people.
And I do have a problem with that Walmart decision because, there are a few things going on, right? We need to pay black people for working.
Yes.
Yes, we need to pay black people for working, but black people need jobs. Not everybody wants to be on disability.
That's right.
Nobody wants to, very few people want to be on disability. People want to have meaningful, productive jobs as a functioning part of the society, and they should be paid for being a functioning part of society, right? So Mary wants a job. She doesn't want to go to Defects. She wants a good job at Walmart where she can walk to, earn a good wage, and then, pick up some groceries and go home. That's not too much to ask out of life. Yes.
The other thing that got overlooked in that whole thing was that this community doesn't have
a grocery store.
Grocery store
right.
that's not taking advantage of their place.
That's
in the
right.
community.
So the drive to kill Walmart was led by some kind of naive folks. Actually, it's led by some people who weren't naive, and then used the naive folks to push the agenda, and none of it was working in black people's interest. So the problem isn't jobs. The problem is low-paying jobs that aren't unionized.
And strategy.
Right. So you get Walmart in here, and then you flip the whole shop. You flip the whole shop. But you get Walmart in here because we needed a grocery store, and Mary needed a job, and we need to start thinking in terms of what gets good jobs to black communities. And take that seriously, and also what gets fresh food and produce next to Mary's house, because people say we should just have more small farms and family gardens. No, I want a Kroger next to my place that I can walk to, and me doing what I do and saying what I say, maybe work at, because depending on who you talk to, I might be making myself unemployable.
And it goes back to last night when the person on the school board said he has a problem with having a school there, a campus where the vegetable place is, because the paraprofessionals are not going to get paid. So we have children, over 100 children, that's waiting on a waiting list to be educated. So now you want to just give me something out of your garden. But now if you put a campus there and educate me, then I can get out and get a job, and I can feed myself. I won't have to come to your garden. I can feed myself because I can get educated. I can get a job because knowledge is power.
Yeah, this idea that community gardens will save the hood is a little bit naive.
I also want to know.
It doesn't even save the suburbs. Yeah,
I also want to know how many times has he voted to raise those people's wages? You can't sit on a board that can increase people's wages and go, well, they don't have the wages they deserve.
Right. So, he was saying, Greg Davis was saying, the parapros don't get paid enough, so we shouldn't open this campus. But Greg Davis also sits on the board that decides the budget. So if he really cared about this, we would have heard about it before.
And you want to give me a fish. But now, why don't you give me the school? Let me go in and learn how to fish, and I can fish as long as I want. I can catch as many fish as I want. I don't have to take your fish, and maybe one day you won't have a fish. So we need stability, we don't need to have to rely on people, and they continue to call us welfare queens.
No,
because we're not welfare queens.
Mary wants
we
to
want
work.
to get it for ourselves. If you will allow me, like James Brown said, I don't want nobody to give me nothing, open up the door, I get it myself. So just allow me the ability, stop trying to hinder me and say I'm not capable, when I am capable, but you are holding back resources, you're doing things strategically to have me begging you for something when I can have more of what I want.
That's exactly right. And by the way, I've been talking about the federal job guarantee for a year or so now, but this is what kind of freedom it purchases. Mary shouldn't be hustling for a job. Mary shouldn't be, if Mary doesn't want to be on disability going to DFACS, she shouldn't have to. She can work. She can do many things. She can speak better than I can. So there are many jobs Mary could do, but the private market has never absorbed stigmatized communities at fair wages and conditions. So Mary should have a good job that doesn't involve kissing any white people's butt, and it should pay a decent amount, and it should be like appropriately close to her place because she can work and she wants to work. She doesn't want to be on disability. Like that's the problem with America. And if you don't have a good job on a functional part standing in, we live in a market society. So if you don't have a functional part producing in the market society and consuming in the market society, you aren't really participating. You can't participate. She should be able to produce as a Walmart employee or an employee of anyone, and then she should be able to consume as someone who makes more than just like $15 in food stamps. Like she has
a month.
So like
$15 a month.
I thought I was bad.
So you're gonna buy some juice? Really?
Yes.
They give out food stamps for $28.
My disability is high enough. My check is high enough that they say I only get $28 a month.
There's so many problems. Just give people a good job. There's work to be done. Mary would be an excellent reading tutor. We have a lot of kids are failing, not doing so hot in our schools. Hire Mary as a reading tutor.
They want me to have doctor in front of my name.
For a reading tutor.
But the doctors say and more than I do.
Yeah. No, hire Mary to be a reading tutor. And let's get these scores up. But the private market's not going to do that. In the suburbs, if they have reading problem, they have extra money to hire a private reading tutor. But that's what happens when you've been like exploiting black people for a few generations. Mm-hmm. You have this kind of extra money. Now the exploited also need to read. Mm-hmm. And we could do with a reading tutor. So in order to make the situation whole, you need the private market's not going to employ Mary as she should be employed. She should be employed by the needs of the community, which we need reading tutors. So it should employ Mary because she wants to work. She wants to work. Mary's been working all her life, I assume. When did you get your first job, Mary?
My first job was babysitting. My first job was $3 a day, okay? Hey, $3 a day.
$3 a day?
Yeah, $3 a day, $15 a week from about 7 in the morning to about 4:30 or 5 in the
Woo!
Those white kids don't know how to read.
Was it a white family?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Spot on.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
So I can tell you about some experiences, and people think that I'm over the top on some things, but I've gone through some things in these 70 years that I've been on this earth. Yes.
Man.
Yes. I'm not over the top. And some people need to come up. Some black people need to come up a little bit.
Yeah. So you're working with a white family for $3 a day, taking care of their children, and $3.
Then my next job was $4 a day.
$4 a day. What was that doing?
Taking care of children.
Taking care of children. And I assume all those children are doing fine, making I suspect more than $4 a day.
Probably, yes, they are millionaires and all that stuff.
Off the stuff she taught, because her parents didn't teach them. Mary taught them. So that's Black life right there.
But I want to get back to the Board of Education because some things are happening that are really, really serious. And the board we have 5 new members. We have new members, and they don't know the rules. And some of them are refusing to listen to the person on the board that knows the rules. Bring the rules to the table and read them. They know the rules that
work for them. Okay, they know the rules that work for them.
But what I'm saying is it's dangerous because what's going on the Board of Education in Athens-Clarke County is bringing people here that want to investigate. That's serious because the people that's coming here to investigate can take the accreditation. That's serious because what if something happens between now and when the children and our people in 12th grade graduate next year, and if the schools are not accredited, then what happens to the children that graduate? Are they eligible to go to college? So the people on the board need to not be wanting to have go on ego trips and not want to, I'm going to answer this. This is the way this is going to be when your answer is wrong, when your answer is not going along with the rules, because the board has a governing body over them. And we under Georgia law that has the legislature to make rules. And like, for instance, last week, a resolution was given. Well, the resolution has to go to the legislators, but the board adopted and overruled a law that was actually read to them. So when they make decisions, because when they have this I'm in charge attitude and it's going to go my way, and you break rules, then guess what? You asking outsiders to come in and find out. And if they're already saying in the newspaper that Athens is incompetent, the Board of Education in Athens needs to be investigated, because the board people are not qualified to sit on the board. And then you get up there and argue with somebody that has a rule for you to go by, and you disallow the rule because you want to have that I'm in charge feeling. And then you're just saying, come on down, because the allegations in the paper are true. Y'all come on down and investigate us and terminate us or whatever.
And we've seen recently in Georgia that what happens after these investigations is that the state dismisses school boards and takes over. You know, we spent a lot of energy fighting the idea of Amendment 1 a few years back, but now we're playing right into it by not doing things in a manner that keeps the state from taking our school boards' power from it.
They have an orientation manual. Everybody has an orientation manual, and they need to go by the manual instead of saying, well, this is the way I think it ought to be. No, this is what the rule says, and we are going to go by the governing rules. And that's the way, because you can't have everybody's opinion. You got to have what's right. We need to be, the board need to make decisions on what is right, what is best for our children, what is best for the city, not what's best for, I hate that word. What is it they use? The stakeholders. Stakeholders. Because when you say stakeholders, I'm saying somebody that's going to profit. Usually,
you're talking about real estate agents.
Financially.
When you talk about stakeholders, I think real estate agents and
you're going to profit from me. You're not interested in helping me. You're interested in making money or something off of me. And they just use that word. And so these stakeholders want them investigated. And another problem I have with this is that if Georgia being a contract law state and they have accusers, you're supposed to be able to face your accuser. Your accuser is supposed to have a name. So the school is being investigated by stakeholders, anonymous, and they have made accusations. And this is Georgia, and I'm going, where is the law team? I mean, I'm going to say it again. My 9th grade education, I'm thinking, if this is Georgia, contract law state, somebody accused me of something, I'm not supposed to go on trial unless I have the papers with the person's name on it that accused me, so I can rightfully challenge the accusation. But the board seems to be going along with whatever these stakeholders are saying that's going on to answer, and the superintendent has 30 days to answer according to this. So where is the support for the superintendent and the board? I mean, they have an attorney. Yeah. I don't call names, but I'll let Mr. Irmy call some names. I mean, what is going on? And so it's,
yeah, I mean, publicity, accountability, a lot of pressures, right? So if you don't know anything about Athens-Clarke County School District, it's, I want to say 54% black.
Yeah.
54% black, probably 25% white, and then the rest Latino, and Asian. And, you know, the white kids do fine, the black kids not so hot. And what's it going to take to actually, and, you know, most of the teachers are, you know, white women, but what's it going to take to actually make sure the kids read? My kids go to school there, but, you know, I can read 4 languages, and my wife's got a bunch of degrees. My kids do fine. It's everybody else's kids I'm worried about. For example, it's possible that in 10 or 15 years, my daughter's going to go to prom. I want her date to be able to read. I want her date to be able to read. That's not too much to ask. So we all have a stake in the quality of education of the kids in our neighbor, in our community. And the new chief executive, the superintendent, is actually, I think, we don't agree on everything all the time, but he's a black guy. I understand what he's doing, and I think he's actually on the right path, his way, right? So not everyone's going to do everything the way I want them to do it, but I trust him to do his job so far, And but the thing is, he's ticking off a lot of white liberals.
Mm-hmm.
He's ticking off a lot of white liberals, and those white liberals are very litigious. White liberals are litigious. And when I first moved to Athens, someone told me that, like, Athens, Georgia, it's supposed to be this, progressive town,
It's
whatever. All the trouble comes from these white liberals. All the trouble comes from these white liberals who think they know everything, and while they keep black people, like, generationally poor. Right? So that's what I've seen. And these are the white liberals who are going after the superintendent, who I think is actually doing fine, because he's actually saying some of the problems is with
He's
the white
producing
parents.
the data to show that he's not trying to give resources to people that don't deserve it. He just want a level playing field. He want all the children to have all the things and all the resources they need. You shouldn't have to go to be in other district to get special privileges for special things, and then this school's supposed to have these same resources, but we're going to ignore them.
Right. So he just wants to treat black children as if they deserve to be educated too, and that they're not disposable. The problem is the culture around here is kind of understood that they're about the top 15% of black children are fine, and then the bottom 85% of black children are disposable.
Mm-hmm.
Disposable. As in, like, if there was just a bomb that would drop and just kill them, like these white liberals would not care. They exist to give the daughters of white flight counties jobs as teachers. Like, that's their natural resource.
And to tell the people they don't understand what they need.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what we actually need.
Right. No.
So here's
And they said last night, learn cursive at home.
Actually, I think that's unfortunate.
Cursive at home.
I think kids should both be able to learn how to type and learn how to cursive write in school. I learned typing at home. I learned cursive in school. My handwriting's not the best, so I went back to printing when I got to college. But I can read cursive.
both there.
Not the best. So I went back to I print now, but I can read cursive and in a pinch.
I can't print.
Oh, you didn't know how to
Cursive
print?
is so ingrained in my brain that if I try to print, I literally switch between cursive and print simultaneously. So I have to type everything. But I'm amazed that kids don't learn cursive anymore in schools. And I didn't learn this until my nieces and nephews were like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Oh, that's a problem."
No, that's it's calligraphy. No, but I have a few problems with schools. I think they use screens too much in the schools.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you need. I can do a lot of things with a chalkboard. And you can move in the whiteboards. I can do a lot of things with a whiteboard. I don't need the screens in school. Kids don't need iPads. I wish all of that stuff were out of the school. I think they got tricked by some. They got tricked by a white marketing department, actually. Because you go to a fancy white school, they got all that stuff out. Like, the kids actually don't have it because it's not good for their brains. So I actually don't want technology in school, and I think good teachers can teach without technology. People get mad. Why do you tell teachers what to do? Because I know how to teach kids. Because I know how to teach kids. I'm very good at that. Like, I don't know what you want. Like, I'm very good. Have you ever taught? When I do, I'm very good at it. And now I teach kids who are a little bit older. I teach 17-year-olds. I teach white suburban kids who go to UGA. And you know what I am? Very good at it. So I don't understand. Yes, I know how to tell teachers their jobs. You don't need, if you're actually teaching kids, you don't need an iPad. Mary, you had a very good education from 0 through 9th grade. Did you ever have an iPad in your school?
No.
But yeah,
and I think if I worked at Kroger's or any place else in the cash register in the power, when I think I still could add up how much your groceries cost.
And do the tax.
and do the tax.
By the way,
we can't serve you because the machines are down, and I just don't know how much change to give you back out of $4.
By the way, on a quick note, I just want you to know the chat wanted me to tell you that your hair is amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
They wanted to make sure you got told that.
Okay.
Mary's always correct.
Yeah.
Me, not so much. I have other virtues, though. I can teach kids.
But not if you don't have doctor behind your name.
But
In
not if I don't
Athens,
have
it seems
doctor.
you have to have
And
DR.
they're trying real hard to make sure you don't get doctor anything.
Well, there's that. There's also the case that they're trying to tell you that some suburban white chick can teach these kids better than Mary Bagby can. And I say no. I said no. No.
I'd also like to point out that some of the board members have decided not to meet with us, second district, to hear our concerns. 2 people on the board have said they can't.
They're not going to meet with it?
They're not going to
Does
be
the
able
second
to
district
meet.
have a representative?
We have a representative,
now-
Miss Frances Berry.
Oh, Frances Berry. Okay. But Frances Berry's going to meet with you.
No, she's the one that's not going to meet with us anymore.
Well, no, that's a problem with
and-
democracy insofar as Frances Berry is the representative of this district, and she should meet. Actually, if
And
she
not
would
an elected, she was an appointed
representative,
of this district.
and honestly, she should have open hours like once a month where anybody could just drop by and say anything. So the fact that she's decided not to meet with any constituents.
And the other person, I won't call the name, but this person represents 9 District 9.
Well,
Hold on, give me a moment. I'm thinking.
it's 20. I don't know, but I have a problem with elected representatives who have a problem meeting with their constituents. Because that's a problem with democracy and accountability. And if you have a question, you should be able to go to your elected representative and have it out with them. They're accountable to you. You're their boss. Your one vote matters. All right, so let's, Mary, any parting words? We're going to have you back next month. But yeah, any parting words
I
about
just
the
want
children?
the parents to come out. If you know someone that have children in the school system, ask them to set aside time, find a day once a month to come to the board meetings and voice your opinion. You have 3 minutes. And I've been telling parents, and I'm looking forward to some new parents that will come out and say what's wrong. And I would like for the board to realize that they are representing our children and the parents. And I want them to look at the manual, the orientation manuals, and I want them to conduct themselves according to the protocol and the law so that they won't come in and say they're going to dismantle our schools and there's another agenda that won't be helpful for our children.
And to add on to that, I think that people who don't have children need to understand that we have a responsibility. If we want our community
Extended
to be
family.
whole, we need to be there too.
Yes.
You know, I don't have a kid in school, and I've been to school board meetings because I recognize there's a need for it in the community. So, you know, even if you don't have children, you need to be there supporting them because that's the community you're about to live in.
That's right.
Very good. That's a community that's coming for you. Hey, what's up?
The warning.
The warning.
Next week.
Yeah, the next week it's going to be not me. Sin's going to take the show. And we're going to talk about, black masculinity and what that means and how some of us are contrived as threats. Would you believe? And I thought about this because a lot of people have been talking about this Dave Chappelle show. Sticks and Stones, his latest stand-up comedy. I watched it and I thought it was fun. I thought it was funny. And then I turned on the internet and people got very exercised about it. Black man having opinions about things that he ought not have opinions about, apparently. And I think Dave Chappelle should have all the opinions. I think he gets to have all of the opinions. He gets a full deck of opinions as a person. But apparently he only gets a handful of opinions that need to be approved by some people in the alphabet community. So
Who need to be called on their BS?
so we're going to talk about all of that. And if you haven't seen the show, Sticks and Stones, the Dave Chappelle show, there are going to be some spoilers. So I don't know what to tell you. Watch it between now and then. Go to your friends and borrow a password. Do what you got to do. And with that, that's it. Peace.